Hello and welcome to another episode of Living Well with Dr. Mike. I'm your host, Dr. Mike Cockrell, and I want to thank you for joining me here for this episode today. Today, we're going to be sharing with you some signs and symptoms of low thyroid. The thyroid gland is a little butterfly shaped gland in your neck, and it is vital to so many of your bodily systems. In fact, it helps regulate and manage just about every metabolic process in your body. Recent research suggests as many as 59 million Americans have a thyroid problem, and the majority of those people are not even aware they have an issue. If you have an undiagnosed thyroid problem, it can lead to unexpected weight gain, heart disease, depression, decreased libido, infertility, hair loss, anxiety. The list just sort of goes on and on and on. And for such a small gland, the thyroid is responsible for a heck of a lot. So, to work out if you might have a thyroid problem, I thought what I would do would present a few of the more common symptoms, how they might be related to thyroid levels, so that you at least had something that you could use to start asking questions about what's really going on with your body, and then take those questions if you feel like you have an issue and address it directly with your healthcare provider. So let's look at a few of these symptoms. Number one, have you gained weight unexplainably and just can't seem to get rid of it? If you have unexplained weight gain or you find it very hard to lose weight even though you're dieting and exercising, one of the first places that I always look is at the thyroid gland. It's estimated that as many as 20 million people in America are overweight, and they don't have to be, because it may be dysregulation in your thyroid hormones. Your thyroid gland may be spitting and sputtering, as I like to say, but if that gland begins to lose its capacity to keep up from a metabolic standpoint, if it's not making quite enough thyroid hormone to keep the system running, it's going to affect you in some negative ways. So, pay attention that if you've gained weight unexpectedly, can't seem to get it off no matter what you do, especially if you're actively working at dieting and exercising, make sure you check out that thyroid gland. Number two, are you suffering with anxiety and depression? Thyroid disorders and depression are intrinsically linked. If you have depressive symptoms that don't seem to be responding to antidepressant medication, might be a sign of a thyroid disorder. When you have low thyroid function, you produce less thyroid hormones. If you produce less thyroid hormones, you tend to disrupt the regulation of other systems in your body. Thyroid hormones are needed for ideal brain function. If you have low levels of thyroid hormone, it can affect your cognitive function. It can affect your ability to concentrate. It can affect your attention span. It can affect your mood, and it can affect your emotions. In addition to the effect it has on the brain, if you just feel tired, exhausted, and run down all the time, that's going to affect your mood in a negative way. The third thing I want to discuss is, do you experience tiredness and fatigue on a daily basis? If you sleep all night but you wake up the next morning just feeling exhausted, you're not able to get out of the bed and function all day without taking a nap, that could be a sign of low thyroid function. That could be a sign of several other things that we'll discuss later on in some other modules, because if your sleep pattern is disrupted, if you have an issue with obstructive sleep apnea, there's a whole host of things that can affect you from that standpoint. But when you have a low thyroid function, it can lead to increased heart rate, high blood pressure, constipation, a lot of things that make you just feel tired and run down. And the key to that fatigue is not that you're tired, because if you overdo it every now and then, you should be tired every now and then. But if you're just tired when you go to bed, tired when you wake up, tired through the entire day, you might have a problem that needs to be investigated. Number four, have you noticed changes in your hair and skin? Now, when you suffer with low thyroid function, your hair and skin will most likely be affected. You have an underactive thyroid, your hair becomes brittle, it becomes dry, it may notice that it begins to break, you may notice that it falls out. You may notice that when you're taking a shower that you end up, when you're washing your hair, there's handfuls of hair that's coming out that was not like that before. So your skin also is going to become coarse and thick and dry and scaly. And when you have low thyroid function, you actually may notice that you're losing the hair right at the outer edges of your eyebrow. So if you notice that you've had changes in your skin, changes in your hair that don't seem just right, it may be time to get your thyroid checked. Number 5, do you suffer with high cholesterol that doesn't respond to diet changes? You know, if you're struggling with trying to keep your cholesterol in check, if it doesn't seem to be responding to changes in your diet, your lifestyle, or using cholesterol lowering medicines, it may be a sign of underactive thyroid, and you need to make sure that that is being looked at and evaluated. Number 6, do you experience tendonitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, muscle and joint pain? It is very common for people with low thyroid function to suffer with aches and pains in their muscles. Um, can also experience weakness in your arms, propensity to develop carpal tunnel syndrome in their arms and hands, or tarsal tunnel syndrome in their feet and legs. So if you or anyone you know is suffering from more than one or two of these types of symptoms, that could be a sign that your thyroid is not working. If you have an underactive thyroid, you may not suffer with all of these things. The chances are you may have one or two. So here's my suggestion from a general healthcare standpoint, that if you have more than two or three signs that you have low thyroid, make sure you get that checked out. Now, in addition to doing just a thyroid stimulating test, or TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which is the typical test that most people use to screen. If that test is normal, then you may want to have your physician check a free T3 and a free T4 just to make sure that your levels are really what they need to be. If you suffer from thyroid function, it's easy to overcome these symptoms by making some lifestyle changes, getting your diet straightened up, losing some weight, taking care of some nutritional deficiencies that may be there. And at worst case scenario, you may need some type of prescription medication for supplementation. So listen, I want you to look forward, because I'm going to be talking more about this subject as we go forward in this course. And I hope that I can help shed some light on some of the topics that are most common out there, so that you can begin to take control of your own health care. My goal, my vision is that you have enough information readily available at your fingertips so that you can at least make some informed decisions. And when you go in to talk to your healthcare provider about a subject, you're not just hoping that he's educated or she's well educated and going to give you all of the information. Take some of that information with you so you know what questions to ask, and working together with your healthcare provider, you can make the change you need to make to create a life of health and happiness. I hope this information has been beneficial. If you need more information or you want to find out more about what we're doing, I encourage you to go to my website at www.livingwellwithdrmike.com. You can find all of our current updates there. If you want to find this information in a nice, compact, concise format, I have created an online course that I call Living Well with Dr. Mike, and you can find the information about that course at www.dockrell, that's DOCCOCKRELL.com/living well. Look, don't let anyone take charge of your health. You are in control. You need to take control, and you need to be working every day to create a life of health and happiness. Listen, I will see you later in the next episode, or I will see you inside the online course. Have a great day.